I'm going to run through our inaugural brand leaders event that happened back in December and give you some highlights and some of the key takeaways from that event. And we had a fantastic range of speakers at the event. We had brands from Bartle Denim to Patagonia, we had Bottle Top, we had Rayburn, you can see all the names up there. So, and we heard from founders, from senior management, and really the focus of the brand leaders event was how to create best-selling products that sell well but are also, positive in terms of sustainability impact. So it was hearing from them firsthand how they've managed to achieve that. So first up, we were lucky enough to be joined by James Bartle, who some of you might be familiar with, the founder and CEO of Outland Denim, Australia's first B Corp certified denim brand, known for its revolutionary approach to social and environmental sustainability. And James shared with us his thoughts on managing rapid growth, both the positives and the negatives. And he told us, for example, how adapting to the local Cambodian culture, where they predominantly produce it, and avoiding whitewashing and a kind of we know best approach was really key to the brand experiencing rapid growth. And I know that's been particularly true during the pandemic when they've not been able to go over to Cambodia and work so closely, but they've actually been able to allow the team to lead themselves. And it's really worked well for them. He also talked about the rapid growth that Outland Denim experienced after Meghan Markle was photographed wearing their Harriet black denim skinny jean, which you can see on the left here, leading it to sell out overnight and a 6-month waiting list. And while it led to Outland being able to provide employment to a significant number of new machinists, in hindsight, James really spoke about how he would like to have taken a longer term view on growth at that point. But with the benefit of hindsight, that's how he feels about it now. But he also spoke about sustainability and highlighted the issue of chemicals used in dyeing and the huge responsibility that we have when producing clothing that people wear every single day of their lives, given that clothing is rubbing up against the largest organ of our body, our skin. Obviously, that's particularly true of denim, something that we wear day in and day out. I also asked James how Outland Denim use sustainable fabrics and processes and yet remain competitive on price. And I thought he had an interesting response to this. He said, we're never going to be able to compare with brands that have built their business on price point, and we don't desire to. Ultimately, our brand is an educator of the reality of the true cost of producing a garment. And I think that, he said, is where the beauty is as well. When someone buys our product, they're not just buying this epic pair of jeans, they're buying education, they bring our community into something that is so much greater than themselves. And it is not just about social impact, they're buying into innovation and the way that jeans will be made in the future. We also heard from Cressy Westling, co-founder of Elvis and Cressy. Since 2005, Elvis and Cressy have been rescuing decommissioned fire hoses and transforming them to luxury lifestyle accessories and donating 50% of profits back to charities. And in April this year, Elvis and Cressy celebrated their success by giving their largest ever donation of almost £100,000 to charity. And I asked Cressy, how did they go about achieving product market fit? And I thought this was really interesting. She said all their research into product development tends to be talking to people on the sales floor and asking them what they have always sold, specifically not what they sold this year or last year, but what items do people need all the time. And she said it was never about talking to consumers. It was about finding out what the perennials are. She also spoke about how using waste fire hoses has created a unique situation where from day one, the brand suddenly had 66,000 brand ambassadors, which is just incredible. Namely, those people working in the fire service and their friends and family. And that certainly in the early days, she said, there was no amount that they could have paid to generate that level of goodwill. We were also thrilled to be joined by Molly Coe, co-founder of Osei Duro, a women's wear label with a cult following and over $1 million in sales, worn by Michelle Obama. Osei Duro has scaled up artisanal techniques such as hand dyeing and weaving while maintaining direct relationships with all producers, and they predominantly work out of Ghana. Molly spoke at length about how they've adapted local artisanal techniques and experimented with applying traditional batik to different base cloths to create a product that feels as good as it looks. But for me, it was her thoughts on her brand business model itself that were the most interesting, because Molly spoke of the brand's move away from wholesale and how it's really paid off for them. And this is something that we've been reading about. I don't know if any of you subscribe to Vogue Business, Business of Fashion. This is something that's been in the news for some time about a move away from wholesale and D2C instead. And she said in 2017, we made a big shift away from focusing on wholesale and focusing on direct to consumer through our website. And that has made a big difference for us. And in 2019, we started paying for marketing, which also made a big difference. And most of our sales are now through our website, and about 10% of our sales are through wholesale to stores. And she said, I don't know how many other people do this, but it's worked quite well for us, is we put the upcoming season online on a password protected site about 3 months before we're ready to start shipping the first delivery. And stores have access to it and they can purchase it outright at wholesale prices. So they have to pay 100% upfront. So basically they have to save budget for us, but it takes a lot of the risk away for us, and it's really paid off for them. I also spoke to Cameron Soul, co-founder of Bottle Top, the accessories brand with a mission to alleviate poverty, and which counts David Beckham and Naomi Campbell as ambassadors. And Cameron provided insights into the social impact of his business and how collaborations have really paid off for Bottle Top. He said, I would say collaboration has been absolutely fundamental to our journey, because each time we've done a new collaboration, we've built on what we've done previously and then really leveraged that to drive into new territory from a design and aesthetics perspective that oftentimes have really moved the needle for them. We also heard from Jodie Susan, who's the managing director of Allbirds Europe. The sustainable practices are embedded into the mission at Allbirds, and the brand has combined this with success from the very beginning, selling 1 million pair of shoes within its first 2 years, and an absolute favorite within Silicon Valley. They're known as a kind of normcore type shoe, but last year, Allbirds made a move into the technical running shoe market and actually produced a best-selling product. So I spoke to Jodie about that, the Tree Dasher running shoe. And really interesting use of materials. It predominantly uses natural fibers using eucalyptus tree fiber knitted into an upper, sugarcane midsole, and a sock liner rather made from castor beans. And I asked Jodie again about product market fit and what she put the success down to of the Tree Dasher. And she said it really was about creating a great looking product that performs well. And then they've achieved this through rigorous testing with athletes. And the launch also coincided with the pandemic and the surge in interest in exercise. So all brought together with a strong sustainable narrative around carbon footprint reduction. And for those who don't already know, Allbirds shoes carry a carbon footprint consumer facing label on them, detailing the carbon impact of each product. And I was also lucky enough to speak to Christine Goulet, who's the global director of material science company Pangaia. Pangaia has been described by L'Officiel as the most inspiring sustainable fashion brand of the moment and has taken social media by storm, counting Bella Hadid, Justin Bieber, and a number of other celebrities such as Jaden Smith and Kourtney Kardashian as fans. And Christine shared the brand's philosophy and real kind of laser focus on material innovation with us. And she told us how the direct-to-consumer brand is working well to promote Pangaia's B2B arm by getting their material innovations out there. So if you don't already know, Pangaia have the B2C arm, and those are the products that you can see on display here on the slide, but they have a whole B2B arm as well, where brands can actually buy into these innovations. So it's really paying off for them as a strategy. So it's allowing them to get their material innovations out there by having the B2C offering, getting people excited about them and helping to drive demand upstream and helping to show other brands that you can do it and it's all possible. So a lot of these technologies then roll over to the B2B portfolio where other brands can tap into them. So it's a really interesting concept. And in terms of getting product market fit right, Christine spoke of a unique team culture at Pangaia and how they talk internally about being at the intersection of science, purpose, and design. And she said, historically, in the case of sustainability, there's been the connotation that the product might not be quite as good, that if you have something that is organic or you have something made out of nettle fiber, it's going to feel terrible, like you're wearing a potato sack, and it's going to be also more expensive. But she said, within Pangaia, there is an understanding that you need to lead with the product, and the product still needs to be stellar. It needs to be desirable. And we're also joined by designer and founder of her eponymous brand, Bav Taylor. And since 2015, Bav has pioneered the creation of exquisite fashion collections based on sustainable and fair trade fabrics and sourcing. And she told us how her sales strategy has evolved and how to direct to consumer has really paid off for her brand too. And Bav explained how the one thing she would do if she could go back in time would be not to put all her eggs in one basket and focus solely on wholesale. And she really kind of spoke about how exciting it was to be part of London Fashion Week and to have all that interest from some of the world's leading stores, but actually building the direct to consumer base has allowed her to get close to her clients and really understand their needs, which has strengthened her products and her brand. She also spoke about her use of innovative fabrics such as bee leaf, which was mentioned, one of Nova Caro's fabrics. It's a vegan leather substitute made from elephant ear leaves that she has used to create clutches and accessories, and just how supple and easy to work with it is, which was interesting to hear about. And also how much her clients like nettle, which they particularly like for its wellness benefits. So that was good to hear too. And last but not least, we heard from Christopher Rayburn, the founder of his eponymous brand Rayburn, known for its design-led, recycled and remade garments. And when I asked Chris how he ensures his products remain competitive on price, such as his organic white cotton t-shirt, he said, well, we talk about issue and we talk about expenses and we talk about all these things, but what we really should be talking about, and he means within the industry, is value, longevity and quality. And we're by no means, he said, the cheapest t-shirt out there, but why would we even want to be? Because that is not our message or our value as a company. And he went on to say that he doesn't really have that dialogue with his customers around price, as they know they're not buying a basic product, it's a premium product. And he also talked about the journey his brand has gone on and how it took 5 years to evolve the business model, moving away from working solely with remade items and focusing on coats and jackets to providing a more rounded product offering, including more commercial items. And he told us that it really came in tandem with showing at London Fashion Week, winning a few awards and receiving an amazing amount of support from wholesalers. But they then started to kind of dig in after a season, asking, well, where are the commercial wholesale products? And this is really what led Chris to expand the product range and to include the reduced and recycled ranges, producing commercial products made from sustainable and recycled materials. So that's just a snapshot of some of the inspiring insights our brand leaders shared with us. And to hear more, you can check out the full recordings on Con Objective. They're available exclusively to our pro members.